Hello everyone, welcome back for another YouTube video. Today we are going to be talking about the Internet Computer Protocol, ICP, and this is going to be a purely technical video. Now we've given a number of price predictions for a number of cryptocurrencies out there, some getting followed better than others, or I should say more swiftly than others. But today what I want to do, because I'm getting a lot of comments in regards to the Internet Computer ICP, and where I'm currently at with it. So what we're going to be doing in this video is we're going to be doing a number of things. We're going to be taking a look at the Internet Computer from a technical point of view, a price point of view. We're going to be analyzing the price chart. We're also going to be showing you other examples of things that I've called previously going into an uptrend that have done the exact same thing that ICP is doing today, and ultimately it's resolved in higher prices eventually. After we've kind of gone through the pullback that we're going through, we'll look at other representations of that in other charts. It's kind of a breakout and then a retest before we see that continuation. I also want to introduce to you guys, we are going to be releasing what we're calling the Market Mastery course. I truly believe in this method. Now, there's a link to my newsletter in the description. If you sign up to that, when the course is released, you will get a discount as sort of early adopters of the course, or early kind of purchasers of the course. So I'm going to be introducing the kind of schematic, or a couple of the schematics that we use in regards to what the course is all about. It essentially breaks the market down into 4 phases. It's a continuation from Charles Dow's market theory. It's a continuation from Wyckoff's market cycle. So when everyone talks about Wyckoff, they only talk about the sort of accumulation phase and the distribution phase, but there's a sort of 2 middle parts to that in regards to after accumulation, you get an uptrend. I think that ICP has been accumulated. I think it's now in an uptrend. I think that was confirmed to us on volume, and really what's happening is you're getting a retest of the resistance that was taken on volume that essentially has now put us into what we call phase 2, or the uptrending phase, and we're just seeing a pullback, very normal, and actually this is quite a golden opportunity. And of course, we're far away from the kind of distribution phase. We've got to have that uptrend first, which of course Wyckoff laid out. Everyone's very familiar with the distribution schematic, and then you enter a kind of downtrend, a bear market. And also what Stan Weinstein tried to do with his stage analysis, we've kind of evolved that, if you will, and put it into a kind of course to help anybody sort of understand the markets from a technical sort of macro view. So we're not that interested in regards to short-term trading. What we're interested in is finding out the times to buy assets and knowing when to sell them. And I actually think ICP is in a great spot in regards to what's coming. I'm going to be showing you that in this video, showing you lots of examples. I know some people don't believe in technical analysis. It's totally fine. We're not really trying to convince anybody. But I think certainly, we have a Patreon. It's well worth joining. We've called a lot of things, and we'll look at some examples in regards to now being in phase 2s, like we're calling for ICP. We also have technical patterns that could see ICP go to $200. Long way to go. But until we see reason to abandon that ship and change the course that we're on and expect, no upside to be coming for ICP, we keep on keeping on until we see reason to change. So the first thing for me to do is to introduce the schematic to you guys that we have in regards to our Market Mastery course. And I'm going to go ahead and pull that up as we speak. So this is our basic schematic. You can see we like to break the market down into 4 phases, and we like to use the 30 weekly moving average to kind of keep track of things. You can see the phases are obviously phase 1, which is the equivalent of Wyckoff's, and we'll show you Wyckoff's market cycles in just a second. The accumulation phase, then you have phase 2, the uptrend, phase 3, the sort of topping phase, and then phase 4, the downtrend. So we've really evolved a lot of the sort of early technical analysis principles that were made in the 1900s and suited them to today's market. And we'll relate all this to ICP also with some examples. So what I want to do is go over to Charles Dow's market cycle theory, which is another schematic that we have for you. You can see, again, it involves accumulation, public participation, and excess phase, and then obviously distribution, which is our phase 3. Obviously, phase 1 here is phase 1 for us as well. And then public participation to the downside and panic selling. I'm now going to pull up our own schematic of Wyckoff's market cycle. So you can see accumulation. Everyone's very familiar with those schematics. Markup, which is the uptrend. Everyone forgets about that phase. Obviously, the distribution phase and the markdown. Now, I believe that ICP is now in a markup phase and the breakout has been confirmed. I want to also highlight on this schematic, if you look at what happens when you break out of accumulation, you get that first rally and then you get a sharp sort of slam down, if you will, back to the sort of level that was your capping resistance level of the accumulation phase. So we're going to relate all this to ICP. The last schematic I want to show you guys to bear in mind, and we have in the course that's coming, do check the newsletter, it's totally free and there is a free little introductory course as well that might be worth taking. We do have, and we go over hundreds of charts, literally, and we show you that this market mastery works. And at the end of it, there's a quiz that will hopefully prove to you guys that you can predict what's coming next for any market. And the quiz, I think it's got something like 20 or so charts on that we ask you to figure out what phase they're in and what's coming next. And hopefully by the end of it, you'd have proven to yourselves that anybody can understand a chart technically from a macro perspective and outperform their peers who are just following news and other such things, like what we're kind of seeing right now with ICP. So this is the last schematic I have for you. It is, again, you can see the 30 weekly moving average. Look at this schematic, and then we're now going to bring in the ICP chart. So let's go ahead and do that. So this is the internet computer chart. Now, we've done quite a lot of work on this, but we haven't introduced the method that we're introducing today. It's something that I it's how really I look at the markets from a weekly time frame in regards to where they are and where I think they're going. And you'll see a lot of the schematics, and these schematics were derived, some of them 50, 60 years ago, still very much applying to where ICP is today. We're going to look at a number of examples as well to show you actually the normality of what we're seeing with the internet computer. One thing I want people to remember is this is crypto. It's very volatile. It's very over-exaggerated from the traditional markets that are out there. And ultimately, you have to cut something accordingly to its cloth. So with crypto, it's high beta of risk. We know we're very correlated to that space. And what high beta means is it moves in a more volatile manner. So you'd expect with crypto the significant drawdowns, but this is inherent to the space. And when you can kind of understand this space and what it is and understand how these charts move and actually normalize the kind of pullbacks that we see in it, you can really then focus on the bigger picture, which is what we're trying to do in this video, and where perhaps something is going. So you can see, just like that schematic that we pulled up last, even with the volume that we've got on there in that schematic, you can see the kind of marginally lower low. There was also a bullish divergence here that we highlighted, which suggests that the trend is subject to change. Since then, and it's also a bit of a double bottom, you then actually broke out significantly on extremely elevated volume. Now, this is an indication that this is now going to become an uptrending chart after having its accumulation, its phase one base. And ultimately, where you currently are today is at the perfect kind of retest area, like is expected. It's very common. You should expect it as your base case. When we made our price prediction, we did say once you break out of this resistance level, it could just keep going and shoot straight off, or it could come back for a retest. And you want to watch that like a hawk, because you are going to have smart money that understands the charts technically, like I'm hopefully going to teach as many of you as possible to do, and we give a kind of broad overview on a lot of this on this channel. You're going to have smart money that essentially going to look to buy that. And I'm personally going to be buying ICP here, to be totally transparent and honest. I haven't done it yet. I have been accumulating ICP. I am going to be buying more at this kind of an entry point, ultimately for the potential for it to play out to some of the targets that we're looking at. Certainly, we've got that $24 target. It did get very close after the breakout. It got to $21.14, but I can see a $200 ICP price. This industry, from an altcoin point of view, risks generally being a bull market. We've been very right on that. We'll show you some risk examples in just a second. Of course, we've got the DAX, we've got the DJI, which is the Dow Jones Industrial Average, made our target. SPY last year. We had the NASDAQ made our targets. Things like Microsoft. We were very spot on in regards to a lot of stocks because we used this method that we're going to be teaching people when the courses drop. Again, link in the description for the newsletter. Also, if you're not already a Patreon, you want to get ahead of the markets, do consider becoming one. We should really be charging more than we are for it, but we want to make it as accessible for everyone as possible. We understand that not everyone has disposable income, so we've made it, it's essentially the price of a few coffees a month, basically. And of course, there's meetings and all sorts involved in that. So I want to pull up that schematic next to this again, and just kind of highlight that I still believe this is the accumulation phase, and what we're seeing is just a retest after a breakout that was signified on volume. Your volume is dropping off here on the pullback, showing there's not that much conviction behind the pullback. The market is just suffering from a lack of interest, and it will go with the path of least resistance. Now, I think you're going to see a lot of volume coming in here, and you're going to see, I'm going to show you examples of this, like we've called on previous stocks in my Patreon. You're going to see a bid come in here, and you're going to see ICP venture after now breaking out into phase 2 on a onto higher ground, essentially. So I want to show you a couple of examples. The first example I've got for you is Spotify. Now we've got the phases on here. This is all part of the course material, or some of it's in the course material. But I want you to focus. You can see these sort of marginally lower lows, bullish divergence. Then you actually get the breakout. Now, Spotify, there was an inverse head and shoulders here that we also spotted, but we're trying to keep it as simple as possible. Once you broke out, you got a very harsh pullback back to the resistance level before then starting on the broader trend. And what I'm suggesting here is that you are now in a broader uptrending market that aligns with our macro analysis on everything. If you don't watch our daily market updates, please do go and do so. One swallow does not a summer make. We have here, this is a recent sort of call from us, which is Elastic NV. What do you get? You get a breakout, and then you get a harsh retest. And this shakes everybody out just in time for, and you can see the sort of bid this is having, smart money to come in and accumulate. A great stock for us was, of course, Coinbase. So Coinbase, brilliant stock. We still have higher targets for this. You get a breakout, then you get that retest before you then see that continuation. HubSpot is a really good example for us. You can see this here. You've got this resistance level here. You've got an inverse head and shoulders here. Look at how perfectly this made our inverse head and shoulders target. You get a breakout, then you get a retest, which shakes everybody out before you then see higher prices. Bitcoin is also a good example for us. And those of you that have been following me, certainly for any length of time, you'll know we got back into the cryptocurrency markets on the 5th of January, 2023. Which was the perfect time. We had structure here, breakout, retest. This was a bit of a double retest before we then made that target, and we're now moving on to higher ground. The important thing is the breakout on volume, the retest is expected. You need to see a bid come in here for ICP, and I think you are going to see that. We've got literally hundreds of examples of what we're talking about. You can see the DAX was a stock that made our target. Breakout, retest, retest. We've got loads of them. I think the NASDAQ isn't such a good example. That kind of did break out. The retest was very small before going on. Obviously, you've got the likes of Microsoft, which was a very good stock for us. You've got the likes of the DJI, which is the Dow Jones Industrial Average. That made our target recently. There are loads and loads and loads of examples that we can show people out there. And it follows through time and time again. So, to go back to the internet computer chart, we are expecting a bid to come in here. And this, just like we've shown you on other examples of what we call phase 2s, which means we're now in an uptrend. It's very common once you take the resistance, just like we showed you with that Wyckoff's market cycles, the resistance that's held you in that accumulation phase. Once you take that on volume, you trigger what is now a broader uptrend, which aligns with our thesis on the market generally in the direction we think it is going. Once you get that breakout, you often get that retest. And what I want to do now is just bring up the total 2, which we believe is going to $3.8 trillion. It's currently at 1, so it's nearly a 4x. What's ICP, one of the most promising projects in the cryptocurrency space, going to be doing during that time period? Well, I would suggest it's going to be going up along with the rest of the market, potentially to more of a degree. So I just wanted to get a really heavily technical update. I wanted to introduce the course a little bit. We're going to be doing more of that as we go on. And just kind of tell people that I'm still in ICP. I still hold this project. I think it's an amazing project. We will be doing more fundamental videos on it there. Sort of AI running solely on ICP, I think, is groundbreaking. They are really the vision of Web3, the evolution of the internet, and not just the evolution of the internet from a software point of view, also from a hardware point of view, which is what they do with their canisters and other such things. So that is really it from me, ladies and gentlemen. We wanted to give you an update. We're getting lots of questions. You guys ask and we shall answer. On that note, I'm going to love and leave you. I hope you've enjoyed this update as much as I've enjoyed presenting it. I look forward to seeing you all in the next YouTube video. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. See you in the next one.